Sorry, what?
Merry Christmas, knobhead.
Bum hug.
Huh?
Humbug.
Ah, I see. Did you get anything nice?
Not really anything worth mentioning. Did you get anything?
BattleBots got a shout out on BattleBots!
Oh dear, well thank you for that. This is brand new information to me. You haven't shouted it at me several times already.
Had I not? Well, okay, I better do it again just to be on the safe side. BattleBots got a shout out on BattleBots! Yay! Yes, well...
And that's 100 times.
I was quite excited, so thank you, BattleBots. That was very nice of you.
Anyway, yeah, so speaking of that, shall we get on with it?
Oh, but actually, first, Merry Christmas, Shunt posters, of course. And also, we'd like to give a massive congratulations to our 2 BattleBots winners. And for those who haven't paid any attention whatsoever, BattleBots is the fan art competition which we've been running to raise money for the Trussell Trust. We had 2 winners, one for hand-drawn entry, which was Ange L. Duderino, and also one for computer-drawn entry, which went to Con Murray. And those 2 have got some epic BattleBots swagger on the way to them, including the beta jacket, which I am going to miss. It's been sitting in my bedroom and I've been staring at it lovingly, but if I kept it, I would undoubtedly lose John and Gabe's respect and admiration. I mean, because I had that in abundance anyway, but yes, wouldn't like to make John cross. Yes, anyways, fights, Dale. Let's do fights.
Yeah, that happened. So first up, we got Slapbox against Tombstone.
Slapbox is a newbie, and I mean, getting drawn against Tombstone as a newbie, you would shit yourself. So if he did that, we totally understand. Nobody's judging you. It's fine. We'll give him credit, though. He went fucking gung-ho into it. He was like, you know what? I'm against Tombstone. I'm going to be humiliated either way. So I can either be completely humiliated and not make a show of it, or I can at least have a little pop at him. And he went for it. He went, tally-ho! And he went for a little pop at him. And Ray even admitted he was a little bit worried there when he went for him, but then Slapbox, well, there was bits of it.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think about Rara. She would have loved this. Wheels everywhere.
There was, and bits of Robot taking out cameras. I mean,
yeah.
You have to send Ray the billings.
Oh dear. But yeah, credit where it's due though. First fight against Tombstone and lasting over a minute or so. Not to be overlooked as well.
that is not to be looked over. It was a very brightly coloured robot as well. I like brightly coloured robots. There's a lot of dark or kind of robots, but this one came with fabulousness and bright colours and a gung-ho attitude, and it went out in a bin bag. But such is the nature of BattleBots. Sometimes I'm a little familiar with going out of the arena in several pieces, aren't I?
Oh dear. Yes, don't remind me.
Yeah, so we shall depart from Slapbox versus Tombstone, and we shall arrive all aboard the hype train for Slammo versus Pain Train Station. Did you see what I did there?
No, could you explain it in slow details?
all the train puns. Okay, yeah. Right. Brutal honesty. I didn't have high hopes for this fight because Slammo is a Danby bot, and poor Danby has had rotten luck over the last couple of seasons. And Pain Train is a newbie robot, and it was thrown together pretty quickly. So I figured it would have newbie-itis. That is a thing. I didn't just make that up. However, Slammo was freaking awesome. I mean, it body slammed a robot. It's just that's my takeaway from this episode. Nothing pleased me more in this episode than Slammo's suplex on Pain Train. That's my good hit of the night nomination. Actually, you can take your Tombstone and your cameras and good for them. But no, for me. It's this. It's a wee donk. It's amazing. Loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't help but think about the steering on Pain Train was a bit too over the top. I need to dial that back.
I'd like to say I did some journalism, but my journalism is in fact just me bugging Roboteers and going, "Oi, what's wrong with your robot?" So I did this to Evan, and Evan obliged, and he said, "I didn't dial back the ESCs enough. The translation from the test box to arena didn't work out so well for me. After that match, we dialed it back so that one little movement didn't mean 90 degrees of overturning." So there we go. It was his ESC. Tell him off, Dale.
Naughty Evan.
Dial back your ESCs. Oh, can we also appreciate though that Team Pain Train has a dog on their team, and it's called Chew. We Choo Choo. Get it? Get it? Get it? No, okay. No, but seriously, it's a very, very good boy. And if you go on Evan's Instagram, which is Shredding Zoo, you will see Chewy as a puppy. And so if you like puppies, you should go and look at that because it's so wholesome. I'm sorry, I can't resist a puppy, Dale.
I don't have a reply for that one, to be honest.
Should we move on from dogs to cats?
We can do, yes. It's a good idea.
It's a good idea. So Mad Catter versus Ribbot. And I think, well, anyone who'd said after Mad Catter's last fight that it was luck that it took out Fusion the way it did, they can wholeheartedly fuck off right now because Ribbot is not an easy opponent and Mad Catter embarrassed Ribbot.
Yep, I mean, I completely forgot about it, to use their joke.
Oh.
Oh,
I mean, to be fair, like I said, Ribbot is a good bot, and that's a good, solid, and convincing win for Mad Catter. Do you know what, actually, my only disappointment is that Martin Mason didn't interview bomb the Ribbot team like they did to Fusion. I was quite sad about that. Martin, don't let me down next time, please. Come on, man.
Well, I do want Martin to be on every team because he should just talk for everyone. So funny.
He should, but he's not being on my team because he called my robot Nelly the smelly bot, and I don't know. I mean, I'm still cross at him for that.
Yeah. You can talk better than anyone. So you Nelly stays at just you, and then Martin goes for everyone else.
And there were just bits of frog everywhere. Poor arena cleaners. They didn't have a nice job after that one.
I'd imagine not. No.
Who's next?
Next up, we got Gamma 9 versus Chomp.
Okay. As soon as I found out that Gamma 9 was up against Chomp, I started paying attention to that lovely little dome he's got on the top of it. Because, I mean, if that's not asking to be bonked, I don't know what is. And it did bloody well get bonked. John Reed, take notes.
Yeah, that's what you was meant to do.
That's how you wait for a good hit and execute a good hit. I'm sorry, I'm perfectly calm. Oh, that was amazing. I mean,
that is you calm, by the way. Just in case anyone's listening thinking that isn't calm. That is Sarah when she's calm.
Are you insinuating that I'm not calm right now, Dale? Yes.
No.
So Gamma 9 did a fair job of attempting to lift Chomp. I mean, Chomp is 500 pounds of engineering porn, so you know. Gamma 9 was at a slight disadvantage there. And a lot of people are complaining Chomp is really slow. I mean, hello, when you've got a 360-degree rotating fucking insane hammer turret, you don't need to walk that fast, really. Who needs to walk fast when you've got that thing?
Not Chomp, obviously. No.
I mean, it bonked the shit out of Gamma 9. Can I say, though, the Gamma 9 team is lovely. And fun factoid, Gamma 9 is the team which gave us the pokey stick, or sorry, technical term, the lance, which we used against Deep Six. So there you go. They're lovely. They gave us our pokey stick, which was completely ineffective against 100 pounds of Deep Six. But there we go. It was the thought that counts. Thank you, Gamma 9. We appreciated it.
Yeah, and I also just want to say to anyone hating on Chomp, I've seen some comments here and there. Fuck you, because I love Chomp.
Fuck you, indeed. I love Turret Chomp. That's what I'm going to call it. Is it Walker Chomp or is it Turret Chomp? Because I want to go for Turret Chomp.
I don't know. Let's take a vote in the comments down below.
All right, YouTube commenters, vote below. Should it be Walker Chomp or Turret Chomp? In the meantime, we will move on to Shatter versus Malice. Oh, there was a spicy hit at the beginning.
Yes, and again, John Reed, take note.
Yeah, John, if you're listening, watch Shatter, and you'll learn how to fire that weapon button. I'm gonna stop because he's gonna be like, I gave my fucking jacket to that woman, and so we're gonna yes, Shatter, Malice. So there's this big weapon to weapon hit in the beginning, and Shatter's axe head came off completely, although the little arm was still working and giving a little ding ding every now and then. Malice's belt came off, which rendered its spinner ineffective anymore, and it basically turned into a pushing match. And we have a new facial expression to introduce to everyone. It's called Resting Concentration David Face.
Bit wordy, but we'll work on it. Yeah.
he was so intensely into that fight, wasn't he? That was the face of utter concentration. I will wedge this guy.
It makes up for lack of Minotaur this year.
It does. It was a Daniel Freitas, but not quite. It was David's own take on the Daniel Freitas pose.
It was Daniel Light, Diet Daniel.
Yeah, there we go. Diet Daniel. There we go. I like that. I mean, the only sad thing for Malice is that this fight wasn't quite as explosive as its debut, but then again, that is quite a tough act to fill.
Tough act to fill.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Apparently, this judge's decision was controversial, and I'm annoyed at that because when it happened, it wasn't controversial in the slightest to me. I mean, both robots' weapons were ineffective, and it turned into a pushing match. And for me, Shatter's weapon was more ineffective because they'd lost the axe head. I mean, in terms of damage, I mean, yeah, they lost the whole axe head, whereas Malice just lost the belt. And then in the game of pushy shovey, Malice was definitely winning. So of course it went to Malice. But there's loads of people are salty in the comments and they thought it should have gone to Shatter. And I failed to understand how Shatter could have got that. But I'm too exhausted from last week to care about another controversial judge's decision. This one wasn't that bad. So you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah, I wasn't on the, I wasn't one-sided like I was in previous weeks. I mean, I could have seen it either way, but I'm more than happy either one won it. So I don't really understand why it's controversial. It's not controversial at all. It's just a bit of a meh. I think that's what it was. The minute it goes to the judges now, I think people are going to just start making shit up and say, oh, it's controversial, but it's not really. But I don't know.
Do you know what would help?
What?
Consistent judging criteria. Ah, there we go, stating the obvious.
Yes, that is half the problem. Yes.
Yes, well, we'll move on to the main event, which is Bloodsport versus Endgame. After Endgame demasculated Tombstones so quickly last time, I have to admit, I had expected that Endgame would make mincemeat out of Bloodsport, and I was wrong.
I don't know, it was a weird one for me because there were like 3 or 4 big hits, but you couldn't really tell who got the worst of any of them. It's like, it was fun to watch, but going back to what your point was, yeah, I mean, Bloodsport took out Scorpios, Endgame took out Tombstone.
I think I'm definitely underrating Bloodsport because...
Underrated, that one, yeah.
Against Scorpios, I would have given it to Scorpios, purely because, I mean, Scorpios is a tough robot, very well built, and in the hands of Zach Lytle, it is a little demon on wheels. But so yeah, I would have definitely given it to Scorpios, and I was proved wrong. Bloodsport was scary, and it took out Scorpios very convincingly. And so after that, it's really gone up in my estimations. But yeah, Endgame just yeeted Tombstone in like 9 seconds. So I think you can be forgiven for thinking that despite Bloodsport's really convincing win against Scorpios, you could definitely be forgiven for thinking maybe not against Endgame. But here we are. I've been proved wrong again. Congratulations, Bloodsport. You've thrown all my predictions out the window. I hope you're proud of yourself.
You got blood on your hands now.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Now, we missed out Scorpios versus Perfect Phoenix for a reason, and that's because we have Zach and Diana from Scorpios on the show. Yo, yo, yo! How are you guys?
We're doing great.
It was fantastic.
I couldn't resist a yo-yo line.
That was beautiful.
You really know how to throw down.
Oh, Dale, they've come prepared for us.
They have to be relatable all over the world, around the world. I don't know all the many tricks.
Oh dear. So okay, come on. What's it like beating up an 11-year-old, even if that 11-year-old is Tyler Nguyen?
I don't think he counts as an 11-year-old.
In height, yes.
I was the judge at Robo Games the year he completely devastated the entire beetleweight division. And I watched 34 countries said their best beetleweight players, and somehow the little kid who brought the milk carton to stand on is the one who beat all of them with their custom engineered machines.
That's so
So
awesome.
you have to keep in mind, he really is a prodigy. And if the robots are anywhere near equal, he will win the match.
I mean, he absolutely stomped the competition on BattleBots when because he was only 9 when he came on BattleBots, so obviously it wasn't him doing the application, it was his mum doing it. I sort of really wasn't that familiar with robo games at the time, but I learnt of it actually because she sent me links and pictures and stuff of his previous trophies, and it was like, whoa. I showed it to the other guys and was like, whoa, this kid is something. And then started chatting to a couple of Americans, and they're like, oh yeah, we know Tyler. So and then he absolutely just stomped the competition at BattleBots. So I'm really pleased his first fight went really well, and I was really interested in your fight actually, because on the one hand I was really torn because I love you guys and I'm always rooting for you guys, but I love Tyler as well, and like I really want him to do well. So this was conflicting for me. On the other hand, I know very well what a good driver he is, and I know what a good driver Zach is as well, and so this was like, ooh, this is gonna be spicy.
To be honest, I hadn't sat down and watched Tyler win the Junior League, and I watched all 18 of those matches with a front row seat, then watched all 20 some odd matches for him to win the Beetle division with double elimination. Whoa. I don't think I would have been prepared to fight him. Like the fact that I spent days watching this kid devastate everyone. Like the Minotaur team was among the Beetleweights he beat. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
It's insane. The competition level he was already at before Ray started helping him.
And now Ray's helping him. Oh shit.
Exactly.
So Diana, normally you operate the weapon on Scorpios. How come it was handed over to your bot bash student, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we kind of decided that Bennett has spent the last few years competing against Tyler. And so he had a little bit of experience on how to maybe potentially defeat Tyler. And we also really wanted to give both the teenagers on our team spent the whole pandemic building Scorpios. And so Zach and I really wanted to give one of them an opportunity to know what it felt like to drive in the big battle box.
So originally we actually chose Ben to go up and do it. And because Bennett was at Choate Rosemary Hall, it's a boarding school, and Ben had put in more hours. And so it originally fell to him, and he insisted, like, I'm a little too nervous about this. Like, I feel like I'm going to faint when I'm just watching you guys do this.
Yeah.
Bennett has more driving experience. Bennett has beat Tyler before. You should really let Bennett drive the weapon for this match. And he made a very passionate case that it should go to Bennett. And Diana is a gold medalist at Robo Games, and so is Bennett. He's actually won the Junior League.
Oh, cool.
And I know a lot of people are like, well, you handed it over to a kid with no experience. I'm like, Bennett doesn't have no experience.
Yeah.
He does First, he does Vex, he does Robo Games. He has almost 6 to 7 years of robot contest time under his belt.
He had no experience driving a BattleBot, but realistically, how many of the people in the pit areas have experience driving the BattleBot, let alone just like working on it and stuff?
How many of us get our experience in Beetleweights, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I get all my best experience from.
Exactly. So, it was a risky move. We all knew that there was a chance that we could repeat our rotator fight and come back with the arm decapitated off of Scorpios. But it was important to Zach and I that we pay it forward to our students, and we give them a chance to feel the intensity of being in the driver's seat.
And
It
this
is
kind of
mental.
a twofold thing. One, we wanted to give the student a chance to drive. The second thing was for all the people who don't know how good Tyler is, don't know how much of a competitor he is, I'm sure we just look like jerks. Action team coming down to crush this little kid's dreams. And we wanted to make the story about a kid versus a kid, because these two have fought before. It's kind of like an old samurai movie where there's a huge history behind both of these two, and this is their epic rematch on the grand stage.
Yeah, I think BattleBots kind of made the case that he was a force to be reckoned with. But I guess when you're actually in the heat of the moment, you don't know that they're going to do that in the edit, do you? You don't know that there's always the risk that they are going to make you come across as, oh, those mean old guys who beat up a kid.
Specifically is teaching kids and trying to help kids and doing kids' birthday parties. Like we cannot afford to be known as the people who beat up on kids.
Right, and I'm really glad that BattleBots didn't go with that, because considering what you guys do, that would have just been mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so speaking of the fight, talk us through the fight.
That is Brutality, built by Paul. And that robot is a little old and a little out of date. It still is a Paul build, which means it's a monster, but it's running on D-packs, and D-packs can't stall for very long. So we knew if we just kept on the blade and tried to keep the blade as slowed down as we could, it would eventually fry those motors. It's just one of the problems of trying to use D-packs in a robot. And we didn't have to do much espionage to figure that out because they're sticking out of the top of the robot. So one of our big goals was to get him pinned as quickly as possible. And we were really hoping if the blade was stopped, we could land the hammer saw right on one of the motors, which we landed the hammer saw on a couple things. And one of them managed to sever something important because it started smoking. And after that, the fight was not over.
No, because after his blade stopped working, it turned into a style of robot Tyler is very familiar with.
Which
is
wedge.
wedge.
Exactly. So.
And ironically, I think without the blade spinning, his wedge was better, because it went from me being able to get under it from the front to once the blade stopped, all of a sudden I couldn't get under his wedge.
Yeah, there were many moments where I was dying behind the pulverizer stand because I kept seeing Zach approach Perfect Phoenix from the front, and he would just ride up and ride on top of the blade, and I was going crazy because it's like, find a different angle. This angle is not working.
And it took me a few minutes to adapt because I'm like, wait, what happened? Did I hit a bad seam or something? I was getting under the front, but I'm guessing that with the blade spinning, it causes some vibration, which causes his wedge not to sit completely flat. Because, like I said, all of a sudden I went from I can do this to I can't do this.
Yeah. So in actual fact, the weapon not working made the match worse for you.
Yes.
Yes. I was fortunate that Scorpios is faster than Perfect Phoenix. And so it came down to I had to find a way around him, which that still is tricky and still took me quite a few attempts. But once we got under him again and got him into the wall, it started going our way. And then once again, that blade did him in, because once it got hooked by the screws and pulled him into the screws, that match was pretty well over.
Yeah, I could see you're excited once you got him pinned and you were like, yes. This is the moment, take it.
Yeah.
And with Tyler, it's just, if you get that moment, for God's sake, take it, you know.
And somebody asked me, like, why didn't you unstick the kid? And I'm like, I have lost too many fights to children trying to and I have seen Tyler win fights missing wheels.
Yeah.
Like missing the front half of his robot, he can still win. So the second I saw an opportunity to end the match, we ended it.
Yes, I don't blame you. Right, we will delve into some fan and builder questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Bring it on.
Okay, first up, Adam Matthew Peckett would first like you to rate his joke. What did the snowman say to the carrot? Get off my face!
I think that was really good.
That's an 11. An
Oh.
11 out of 10.
Oh,
Love
there
it.
you go. There you go. And his question is, how fast does the saw on Scorpios go?
The saw and hammer saw travel at different speeds because the hammer saw is a smaller diameter than our cutting saw. And in our previous season, we were turning about 3,000 RPM. We got a new brushless motor from Castle, and theoretically, it's supposed to be spinning faster. We actually want to tack it because we didn't get quite the results we were expecting this year. And we've seen other robots double up these motors, like Shatter. He's actually using 2 of these motors to swing his hammer, and he's getting awesome results. And so we're actually going to take a few notes from his book and see if we can improve our saw speed. And
Quick,
I know
Adam, hide!
And I know I'm still dancing around the question, but it's because I don't quite know the answer.
That's fair enough.
We just know it goes fast.
I know the more technical members of my team right now are slapping their face.
Sorry, team.
Sorry, team.
They're used to it with us.
Oh dear. So next question from Helen Claudio. She asks, who's been your favorite matchup so far?
Ooh, can I just say it hasn't aired yet?
It could be from previous seasons if you want.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite matchup so far has actually been Copperhead.
Ooh.
I loved that fight because it started out with Copperhead dominating because it was the first time we had actually gotten to see
to drive that
robot with the hammer saw, and then we turned it around on them. And that final boop that I do to the top of Copperhead where they flip over is like my favorite moment so far. And I left like a gigantic V in their top armor. And when they took the the AR armor off to look at the UHMW armor they had underneath, that hit also imprinted all of their electronics on the underside of the UHMW.
So I have to say it's my 2 lockjaw fights, but it's for a very sentimental reason.
You always wanted to fight Donald, didn't you?
I've always wanted to fight Donald. I was a little kid watching the Comedy Central era, and Donald Hudson used to be the Tombstone back in the day. And I saw Dissector, I saw Tazbot, and I always told myself I was going to build a robot, go to BattleBots, and I'm going to fight Donald Hudson for the nut. 20 years later, to actually do that, to actually get to face him head to head, and I love the fact we're 1-1 right now. I know the Vegas decision was a little controversial, but we are currently 1-1, and I want BattleBots to give us one last rematch because I would like a clean win. Got some surprises for the next round.
All right. Will Hahn says, Zach, I remember meeting you at Nationals 2011 and being in awe of your magnet yo-yo technology. Do you still respond to Magneto?
Magneto?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
I feel like this one needs to come with a little explanation because I just read the question and I have no idea what it means.
So my college roommate and I made a bet that because there was one night the guy who ran the dormitory thought it would be funny if he put the robot champion who was at the school with a scholarship for robotics in the same dorm room as the yo-yo champion. And
what could go wrong?
We were talking about our championships one night and what it's like to compete and like the stress and pressure of being in front of people and trying to perform. And he was teaching me how to yo-yo and I sucked. And I gave him my robot. He was driving the little 1-pounder around the dorm room. And he told me, like, if I just gave him my professional robot, he could go win my contest. But I could never win his contest because it was skill-based. And I asked if I was allowed to design and build my own yo-yo. And he goes, well, yeah, no one does, but you're allowed to. I go, then I can beat you at your contest because I won my robot contest by engineering a better mousetrap, by designing a better thing. And if I'm allowed to design a new yo-yo, I bet I could beat you. And we made a bet. that evolved around Dirty Laundry. If in 3 months I could beat him at the National Yo-Yo Tournament, which was in Chico, California, and I was going to Chico State. And I looked at the rules, and if it was a trick the judge had never seen before, they multiply your score by 10 for that one trick. And so I came up with the idea of I just needed to make a yo-yo that did tricks that no one's ever seen before, and it would multiply my entire score by 10 if they were all brand new. And that was how I was going to beat him. So the yo-yo is limited by rotational inertia, and I made these magnets so they could click together and shift the center of gravity, which makes the yo-yos rotate in a way they've never rotated before. Which, as soon as that element's included in anything, it's a brand new yo-yo trick. And this worked my first year. I managed to get 4th place at the U.S. Nationals. I was probably one of the few people with like a year or 2 of experience. And the Duncan approached me afterwards. I got a patent on it, and Duncan now sells that yo-yo around the world as the Duncan Magnitude.
On the yo-yo forums, he is known as Magneto.
Because I invented the magnetic yo-yo style. And
I see.
my very first year, I was getting that multiplier, but then all my tricks were registered to the yo-yo database of current tricks. So I didn't get the 10 times multiplier ever again.
Oh, shucks.
But it worked the one year that mattered, which was the one year he did not have to do his roommate's laundry.
I got 4th place at the U.S. Nationals in double yo-yos, the 3A division. And then I went to the World Yo-Yo competition in Tokyo.
On our anniversary.
It was actually our honeymoon.
Oh, that's
worse.
I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt there.
We wrote the whole honeymoon off as a company expense, since technically I didn't pay for yo-yo.
Oh, amazing.
But we went to Tokyo. We did a lot of other things besides the yo-yo contest, but one of the things we did do was I went to the yo-yo contest, and in trick innovation, I demonstrated all the new magnet tricks, and I got 2nd place in the Yo-Yo X division, which is basically the yo-yo inventing division, where you have to invent brand new tricks.
There we go.
Nice.
So he's yo-yo famous, you guys. Or
Wow.
whatever that's worth.
It's like, I want to know, Q list in celebrity status? I mean, because BattleBots is around about an L at least.
Oh dear. Anyway, next question from Monk's teammate Rara Granger. You may have heard of her. She wants
I've
to
heard
know. She wants to know if a slow roasted wheel or a grilled wheel with cheese is better.
Well, I like my wheels raw and wriggling.
She's savage. I need to sit down. Whew, goodness. I've come over all flustered.
The juice you get off of a freshly chopped off wheel is just surpasses grilling or frying or
Bloodlust
Yeah.
is what this woman has. Wheel bloodlust. Zach, what do you think?
Ooh, I'm gonna stay out of this one. I'm sorry.
Wise. We will move on to Roger Mail, who asks, if you could have any weapon type, no holds barred, what would you have? And also, who would you like to fight that you haven't fought yet?
Okay, if I could do any weapon type, something I've really wanted to do on Scorpios is I want to replace the hammer saw with like the first effective drilling robot. I want to be able to run up to someone, grab them with some kind of clamp, and then start drilling and boring a hole into them.
You're just such a typical American, aren't you? You just show up, make your drills, and just drill into anything. God.
I would want to have an epic flamethrower that could just effectively drill. Here I go with drilling. Effectively like dive into an opponent, shoot fire all inside their chassis, and then take it out of the opponent and shoot it as high into the air as you want. Yeah.
Okay, and who would you guys like to fight that you haven't fought yet?
Well, here's where you are going to get a little bit of a disagreement between Zach and I.
Oh, domestics.
Yeah. My two dream matchups that haven't happened yet are number one, Huge. I just think that would be a fun match, chop through their wheels and watch them do some derpiness around the arena after their wheels are gone. Fight two would be Hydra. Seeing Scorpio sail through the arena like it can fly, man, it's a dream.
I do love fighting the old school competitors, and I would love a chance to fight the Waiachi guys. However, Hydra's a tough card to beat.
I never said we could beat Hydra. I just said it would be a fun match.
Yeah, to be fair, she's right.
And Huge could go horribly right and horribly wrong.
Do you know what? Huge is one of the opponents I fear the most, actually. I mean, you know, everybody says, oh, they're scared of Tombstone or Minotaur and stuff like that. But Nellie's wedge is pretty tanky. And with the lip at the top now, I actually wouldn't fear a horizontal like Tombstone as much. However, I have fought at featherweight level Nellie with Straddle by Tom Brewster, which is basically a featherweight Huge.
Yeah.
And although I did win the fight, Straddle messed up my axe mech. And Huge is perfectly positioned to really fuck up Nellie's axe mech. So Huge is actually one of the robots I would like genuinely not want to fight. Like, you know, if what's his name, Aaron comes around and says Nellie versus Huge, I'm gonna go, oh crap, round trousers time.
I would be excited. Zach would be right in line with where you are, Sarah. He'd be like, oh, shit.
Although I would get two of his eyes this time and put them on Nellie, because it'd have to be done if I fought Huge.
Yeah. So who would you want to fight most, Zach?
I love fighting against the Whiplash kids. The Vasquezes are incredible drivers, and every time I have stepped into the arena with them, it has been a master course in driving between me and them. And I would love a chance to show everyone what two master drivers look like going at each other in the battle box. So I even told BattleBots before this season, I want Whiplash. Please make Whiplash my first match. And then they made Sawblaze fight Whiplash. And I turned to production. I'm like, can even you guys not tell the two of us apart? That was my request.
Oh, wow.
Someone's a little salty, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
They are awesome competitors,
it's okay.
and I want to fight them. And I already gave you the Huge lesson on why I don't want to fight Huge. I also didn't want to fight Smee, because I feel like Smee is specifically designed to kill robots like Scorpios that
refuse to put wheel guards on.
Yes. So there's my who I want to fight and who I don't want to fight.
So next question from Percy the Platypus. He'd like to know if Scorpios can play the yo-yo.
Actually, we've been working with Duncan to make a custom yo-yo that Scorpios can throw, and it will be coming out in a promotional video soon.
Oh, nice.
You heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen. Keep an eye on the Scorpios page.
Scorpios is going to be throwing Duncan.
Love it. Okay, last question. John Waithwaite asks, now you've seen Walker Chomp, would you build a Walker Scorpios?
We were trying this year. I know the team divided into Scorpios and Hijinks, but we were trying to get Dan back up and running to build a Rex with a Walker bonus. But we had a little bit of a breakdown with production on how much of a Walker bonus Rex deserves. Because we don't expect a 500-pound Rex.
We don't want a 500-pound Rex.
Because we don't have the crane system in the shop to build the 500-pound Rex. We're hoping for like 120 pounds bonus.
Yeah.
And BattleBots came back and said they would give us a 10-pound bonus. And we were just like, we need more than that. We walk.
Yeah.
And we really want to make a spinner walker Rex. It'll have big flamethrowers, it'll have big armor, and will be the best version. We now have a control specialist on the team. His name is Alan. He does Games Done Quick, which is an incredible charity event everyone should check out. His Twitch channel is TaskBot, and he designs computers to beat games. And he does it extremely fast, which is why he does the Games Done Quick. He wants to develop for Rex a little AI computer that helps it figure out how to walk faster. And I think with a decent weight bonus for armor, with this man putting in the software and the technology necessary, I think Walker Rex could be one of the coolest, newest BattleBots.
We just have to get production
on board
with that. For the selection committee, I mean.
Give us 100 pounds. Give us a 100-pound bonus for a gyro walker.
Hey, Greggles, you heard them. That was David Eaton's name for Greg Munson, by the way. Do you like him? I call him Greg when I want something, but Rusty came up with Greggles, so I thought we could amalgamate it, and it could be Greggles McGreg.
Love it.
I'm here all night. So we're going to move on to the Good Hit of the Night award.
So
Do you have any nominations for this first, or would you like us to go ahead with ours?
So the day this aired, I watched this with 3 different groups of people over Zoom. I had an East Coast watch party, I had a West Coast party, and then I went back home to my family and my bubble, and they wanted to watch it again. So I watched this episode 3 times. 2 of the 3 groups paused on this one moment and they wanted to re-see it, which was Shatter swinging his hammer and breaking his hammer while ripping out Malice's belt. And it was a beautiful shot. They were only going to get 1 shot at this, and they managed to hit the critical area. And I had 2 different groups want to slow motion that moment. So for me, that would be the pick.
That's one of our nominations, to be fair. Diana, do you agree with that, or have you got another one?
I do agree with that.
Okay, our nominations also included Slammo's body slam on Pain Train, Tombstone taking out the camera with bits of Slapbox, Chomp taking out the dome on Gamma Knight. I mean, as soon as I saw that dome and that they were up against Chomp, I was like, please let that get bonked. Please, just.
Something I want to say on that, we were pitted next to Gamma 9, and when he rolled back to the pit, I instantly wanted to go see the damage. Once she got through the 3 layers of armor that were at that dome, the dome was one of the thicker spots. She left a full imprint of her hammer inside his robot. Like you could pour resin in and take a casting.
Wow.
It was that clean. And it was his electronics and speed controller she hit.
Yeah.
And you could just see, I want to tell Zoe she needs to go just write Chomp was here on the end of her hammer. Damage like that on robots, she should be stamping them.
Yes.
Yeah, our final one was Mad Catter's death blow to Ribbot. Dale, what was yours? What was your favourite?
Oh yeah, I mean, mine was a combination of all of those really. I mean, Tombstone hitting the camera because it's so specific, and the Shatter and Malice one, are the 2 main ones. And Chomp, obviously. Now I know especially that it got so in there.
It got in there, baby.
Penetration. It was
I'm gonna have to admit, mine is. I'm going for the non-spinner camp here for a change. I love the body slam of Slam It.
Yeah.
Donk. It was so good. That'd be mine. But you're the guest, and you get the casting vote. So who are you gonna give it to?
I gotta go with Craig's Sumoplex. It was great seeing a non-spinner finally do a lifting thing that was effective. That's my vote.
I'm still voting for a hammer taking out a spinner.
Oh no. Okay, they're divided. Dale, you're gonna have to do the casting vote.
Oh dear.
I go for Slamo, so that's 2 to Slamo and 1 to Shatter Malice.
Well, now I'm even more scared now because it's you and Diana against me and Zach.
What's he insinuating here, Diana?
Hmm. I trust him to choose wisely.
Oh no.
Come on, Dale. What's your choice?
Oh dear. Hmm. I want to say Chomp, but
Well, that makes it 2 to Slamo, so Slamo wins.
Yay!
no, that's what I mean. It's only ever going to be a tie, but it was it was just how much do I risk annoying you two? That's
I wouldn't risk annoying us, to be fair. So we're going to give it to Slamo. Congratulations, Slamo. Woo!
Yay!
Woo! You get the John Reed Good Hit of the Night Award for episode 4. And that leaves us with a final quick game of Beat Defeat Judges. So this is like Snog, Marry, Avoid, but less creepy and more robots. So obviously your robot is Scorpios. Your 3 opponents are Nelly, Perfect Phoenix, and Mammoth, as suggested by this game's inventor, Sam Taylor. So you've got to beat one defeats you, and 1 goes to the judges.
Well, if I have to let one of those defeat me, I'm going to let it be Tyler, because there's no dishonor in losing to Tyler.
Very noble, sir. Very noble.
Perfect Phoenix.
Okay, so you get defeated by Perfect Phoenix. You've got to beat 1, and 1 goes to the judges with Nelly or Mammoth.
Ooh.
I'd like to. I think we would. Oh man, Scorpios could do some good damage to Mammoth. I think we defeat
we have
Mammoth.
some evil plans if we ever get to fight Mammoth.
And then we go to the judges with Nelly.
And then I lose because I'm a hammer, obviously.
Well,
you know how they feel about hammers. Just ask Al Kindle. Well, there you go.
Behind the weapon of Nelly, so who knows?
Scorpios could mash Nelly's face up quite good, but you ain't getting through that wedge.
That's true.
But our weapon doesn't need to.
This is very true. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any shout outs you'd like to do before we go? Or before you go? I'm staying here, much to everyone's annoyance.
Especially mine.
Thank you guys for having us on. We love Shunt posting and the Shuntcast, and we love being silly with you guys.
I do want to shout out to Dan, Chewy, Rob, and Alan. These guys weren't able to be there at the filming for a bunch of different reasons, but they really helped us get the robot ready to go. And a big thanks to Castle Creations, Duncan Yo-Yos, X-Prize, Choate, and I know TaskBot. And I really wish my Jersey was here to help me read all 9 of these.
Well, thank you to all those people. Thank you. You're so kind. Thank you. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you later.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Have a wonderful day.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Now that they've gone, I suppose you want to get rid of me now.
Well, yes, if you check your inbox, you've probably got at least 10 meme requests from Al Kindle anyway. And he probably liked them dumb by the time he's finished with us on the Builders playlist. So go on, off you go. Better go and do it. Bye-bye. Go make some tea.
Fine. See you in a minute.
That sound means it's time for the Builders playlist, so I better summon the metalheads. Metalheads, assemble!
Hey.
Hey. Oh, where's Rara? Oh, there's a note. Dear Sarah, I regret to inform you that I ate too many wheels on Christmas Day and am suffering with a food coma. As such, I am unable to attend the Builders playlist this week, and you 2 noble metalers will have to carry the torch without me. Love from Rara. Oh dear. It's just you and me then, Al.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear. Mischief. Nobody to keep us in line. Oh well, we better get on with it. Okay, so first up we have got a suggestion from Alex Price, and it is Puritania, I think I've pronounced that correctly, by Dimmu Borgir, who I also hope I've pronounced correctly. Here we go.
I knew going in I wasn't really going to like it. I've never been a fan of this style of metal or music or whatever you want to call it. It's not the worst
Death
thing I've
metal?
heard, but yeah, I'm not a huge. I don't even know if they're death. You can almost understand him most of the time.
Yes, this is true.
So, I'm just not a fan of the choppy style, I guess if you want to call that death. And but they've been around forever, and I've yet to figure out how to pronounce their name, and so I never worried about it too much. But since I
I
wasn't
call
really,
it demon vocals because the vocals when I hear them, I kind of imagine that a demon or Satan is singing them. Does that make sense?
well,
Or am I just loopy?
if you Google a picture of them, that's a pretty good description. They look like a bunch of devil worshippers or something. So.
I'm not a big fan of these either, but there is like one song I do like. I think it's a cover, although I admit I've never actually heard the cover, and it's Burn in Hell. And it's really good because it starts off weak, in my opinion, because it's this kind of demony voice of welcome to the abandoned land. It's like, okay, weak start. But then it goes into like full on power metal, and it's like, whoa, okay. So that's a good song. But this one, Puritania, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not really sold on it either, I have to admit.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
We're gonna pass. Okay. Well, sorry, Alex Price, but it's not going on the Builders playlist. So we'll try Chris Walmsley's suggestion. I hope I pronounced your surname correctly. Today is not a good day for pronunciation, clearly. He suggests Hammer Smashed by Cannibal Corpse. Here we go.
I laugh when I hear this song because I actually recognize it right away. It's from the club scene in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective when he's going to see his friend who's tracking the whaling ships. He walks into a Cannibal Corpse concert. This is the song that they're playing. I had no
Oh,
idea.
okay, really? I love that film and I've
Yeah,
never known
yeah.
this.
I had no idea what the title was, but it's got Hammer in it, so that's a point. But yeah, this is another one. I absolutely hate the vocals on this type of music, and they're another one. I mean, I remember being a kid walking into the metal store, and there's a local record shop that specializes in metal, and one of the first things I saw was a Cannibal Corpse record, and I'm like, oh my god, what is that? And then I listened to it somewhere, and I was just like, oh, I don't like that. But I mean, musically, they're not bad. It's pretty good musically. It's somewhat melodic in some parts, but I just can't get into the vocals.
Me neither. I mean, I think they must be pretty big in the metal world for what they are because I've heard the name several times and I know that I've listened to like the odd song and just been like, nah, these guys don't really do it for me. But at the same time, they're one of those bands that you know because they're kind of that well known.
They had to be one of the first among the genre that became death metal. I don't know how that progressed because, like I said, I haven't paid too much attention because I don't care for it. But I've always known their name and I've always known their album covers because it looks like a Night of the Living Dead movie, which is kind of cool. But
their fans are some of the biggest gatekeepers ever, and it's so irritating.
Yeah, well, maybe it's not about the music.
I mean, yeah, these kind of vocals just really don't do it for me. I mean, maybe that makes me not a true metaler. You know, bite me. I don't care. But you know, power metal, on the other hand, give me orchestras and choirs. I'm all over that. But yeah, just I've never been sold on Cannibal Corpse, and I've never been sold on whatever this subgenre of metal is. It's the vocals that lose it for me. Musically, I don't mind it. It's the vocals that lose it for me completely.
I agree. I'm a stickler for wanting to understand the lyrics without having to read them, you know, more than occasionally if you can't quite pick out a word. But so, yeah, I would pass on this one too.
Is it harder to understand them or harder to read the band name on the album art?
That's another red flag for me. If I have to twist it sideways and crooked and get a mirror and a you know a book on hieroglyphics to try to decipher your name, I'm probably not going to like the music.
And it's always taken in a Finnish forest somewhere. There are rangers in Finland that just go out looking for metal bands who have come to Finland to take pictures in the forests. I'm sure that's a
I
meme.
had a friend of mine who told me that joke. I guess it was you.
It probably was me. I'm afraid we're going to slightly delve away from metal because David Eaton joined the Builders playlist. And I mean, I'm taking Cannibal Corpse as a no. You were clearly not sold on it, so I'm going to take a presumptuous guess at no for that one.
Yeah, I'm going to pass. We're not doing good this week.
We're not, but so we have a non-metal because David Eaton has showed up. Hello, Rusty, and he would like to suggest this wonderful thing.
That's right, I'm sad and blue, 'cause I can't do the boogaloo. I'm lost, can't do my thing, and that's why I sing. Gimme that thing. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that, gimme that thing, gimme that, gimme that, gimme that thing, gimme that, gimme that, gimme that. Sing it one more time, mama. Gimme that, gimme that, gimme that thing, gimme that, gimme that, gimme that thing, gimme that, gimme that. Well, you ain't doing that.
That was Gimme Dat Ding by the Pipkins. Did you like it, Al?
It made me smile. So, using my Ailstorm theorem that you can't listen to them without smiling, I don't hate it. I mean, it's not an album that I'm going to run out and buy.
No, I'm not going to look up anything else by these people. I'm just going to appreciate this song.
It might be something that I would just slap in the middle of a playlist somewhere just as a tension breaker.
That's a very good idea. You know, you're grinding away and, oh, what's this? Ah, that's lifted my mood. Oh.
Right, because this isn't supposed to just be metal, right? I mean, this is just what you'd want to listen to and while you're building it.
It's metal preferred.
Right, you know, my preferred genre is metal, but you know, like I said, I didn't hate this song and whatever. I think I want to leave it in just for the hell of it.
It's not as bad as Pantera. It's got that going for it.
Well, no, you know, I would take the other two, Cannibal Corpse over Pantera any day. You know.
Do you know what I was about to ask you actually? Demi Borgir or Cannibal Corpse, are they worse than Pantera?
Oh no, I would take the band I can't pronounce over Pantera.
Well, there you go, Alex Price and Chris Wormsley. You know, your songs might not have made the Builders playlist, but Al didn't say they were worse than Pantera. If he says they're worse than Pantera, you're really fucked, okay? But they're not worse than Pantera, so, you know, he's not judging you too harshly. So we'll move on to some Christmas songs, because why not? It's Christmas this week. We'll ignore the fact that we've recorded slightly after Christmas. This is the last Shuntcast of 2020, Al. How do you feel about 2020? Or should I not ask that question?
Yeah, 2020 can kiss my ass. I'm ready. I'm done with it. It's been a pretty shitty year, personally, and for everybody. You know, there's been some losses in my family, and yeah, I'm done with this year.
I will fucking done with you, 2020. Get stuffed. But before we depart from 2020, we shall have some metal Christmas suggestions. Sam Roberts suggests A Heavy Metal Christmas by Christopher Lee. Here we go. Can I tell you that I was utterly delighted to learn that Christopher Lee did metal? I was also a bit sad because I didn't like it that much. But I just love the fact that he did a metal album. That's amazing.
I think that's what happens. It's not that awesome when you listen to it, but just the fact that, you know, Sir Christopher Lee, I mean, he's a legend in both acting and now music for me, especially because I've heard him on Manowar albums. He's done some work with Rhapsody, and I believe he was 89 or 90 when he started recording his own metal albums. I mean, come on, how cool is that? And his voice is awesome.
That is as metal gets. Just fuck it. Right. I'm 89. I've not done a metal album in my life. Fuck it. I'm going to do a metal album.
As a person, that is pretty metal. I mean, I think he was knighted. He's been in Star Wars. He's played Dracula, Frankenstein. He's done it all. And
he hasn't been on BattleBots though.
Well, unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, so I don't think he's gonna be.
No,
But
this is very true. Can you imagine if he was though? If
oh
Christopher,
yeah,
this is a question for the Shunt posters. Shunt posters, tell us in the comments if Christopher Lee had competed on BattleBots, what would he have competed with?
oh, he would just come out with Blacksmith because he's so metal.
Good answer.
We
Okay,
we get him a new record deal on Nuclear Blast.
Okay, so does a heavy metal Christmas make the Christmas Builders playlist?
I'm gonna say yes. I liked it enough to, and I kind of kept going on YouTube after that song when I was checking it out, and I listened to some of the other ones, and they're pretty good. They're funny. I mean, I don't think it's supposed to be a serious thing, but it's pretty cool.
All right, well done, Sam Roberts. Your suggestion makes the Christmas Builders playlist. Next up, Tom with news. I probably pronounced your surname wrong again. Today is not a good day for that. He suggests Gothic Christmas by Within Temptation. Here we go. Not sure how I feel about this one. I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
It's funny. It's like I like this band. I had never heard of them. It's another one of those bands that it blipped on my Pandora and Spotify. It comes in once a while, and then I don't hear it again for weeks, and I don't know what exact station pulls it in and what doesn't. I like the other stuff that I've heard from them a lot more than this Christmas song. I think it's a little cheesy. I feel like they could have done a lot better.
Slay a Dragon or Two was a nice line, though. I did quite like that. Lyrically, I thought I like that. That's clever.
I didn't hate it, but it wasn't. I didn't love it.
Okay, yay or nay to the Builders playlist?
I'm gonna pass on this one.
Sorry, Tom. Is it worse than Pantera?
No.
Well, there you go, Tom. There you go. Well, I'm afraid, Al, we only actually got 2 Christmas suggestions come in from Shunt posters, and those 2 were they. So that leaves a wide open space for number 3. So pick a song, but it's got to be Christmassy.
I have one. I have the perfect song.
All right. What is it?
It's off of Rob Halford, Winter Songs, which is a heavy metal Christmas album, which is phenomenal. The song is track 1. It's Get Into the Spirit.
Again, not sure how I feel about this. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't think I'd choose to put it on my Christmas Builders playlist, but if I was in your workshop and you played it, I wouldn't mind it.
I might put this on my regular playlist, not even Christmas. I love this song because it's not a classical Christmas song that a heavy metal band is doing. He wrote his own song. It's a Christmas song, and it's hard hitting. It's classic Halford. It's very Judas Priest, even though it's just him solo. But I think it's great. It's straight metal. It's the definition of metal, and I love it.
Mine that we don't have time to play a clip for, but I'm gonna suggest that the listeners go and find it. It's called This Endless Night and is by A Hero for the World, and it's a weird mix of This Endless Night and I Saw Three Ships, it done in power metal style, and it's really cool. And for non-metal but kind of still alternative, I also recommend going and listening to Oi to the World by the Vandals, because that's actually a half decent Christmas song. So go and listen to those, and Al, don't judge me.
I'll check them out.
Well, this one was suggested by you, so it's obviously going to go in the Builders playlist. And that means we finished. That's it. That's it for 2020.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Al's
Good
devastated.
riddance. Good riddance.
He's absolutely devastated that 2020 is over, ladies and gentlemen. You can hear it in his voice. Have you got any final words to say to 2020, Al?
Not really. I've had enough. I'm over it. I'm looking forward to the first BattleBots episode of 2021, and we can do this again in 2021, and hopefully we can just forget about 2020. The vaccines are coming out. Hopefully by the time filming comes around again, we can forget about all this COVID nonsense and move on.
Like that. I think we should also take a leaf out of Bender's book and say, kiss my shiny metal ass. Because that's appropriate for a BattleBots podcast.
Well, there's an Overkill song called Thanks for Nothing, and it's very fitting.
I might make that the end credits this time.
It's a good song, and I use it a lot when I'm frustrated, yeah. So I think that's a fitting final song for 2020.
All right, Al, as ever, thanks for joining us. I'm going to have to get rid of you now.
All right, bye-bye.
I'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right, take care. Have a happy new year.
You too, man. Bye.
Hi, I'm back. Here's your tea.
Well, bloody hell, you actually just made me a tea this week. Oh, mate, what have you done to this tea?
I didn't want to show any malice, but I shattered in it.
Oh, thanks, mate. You're a pain train in the arse. Anyway, meme of the week. Should we do that?
Yes, good idea.
I would like to nominate Welp, We're Screwed, Thanks Brexit by Jono Dixon.
Yes, that was a pretty good one.
There was some good. I liked the Simpsons judges' decision one. That was pretty cool. But I think the
Cop fatality one as well was good.
That was pretty good. I'll give it that. So honourable mentions to those two. But I think for me, the Welp, We're Screwed, Thanks Brexit is the strong winner for episode 3.
Yes. Congrats, well done to Jono.
Well done, Jono Dixon. Woo! Congratulations. Woo. You mean you win the episode 3 meme of the week. And that leaves us with the Faroukalicious Award. I'll be honest. Well, I mean, there was a tombstone.
How did that measure up on your sexual scale after the first week?
The first week was very good. On a scale of 0 to 10, I was probably moist, but it wasn't as good as episode 1. It wasn't as good as episode 1, but it was still a very good tombstoning. I'll give it that. It was Endgame that got it for me this week.
Yes.
Let's give the listeners a little reminder.
This next bot was born in New Zealand, like the great Russell Crowe. But tonight, he's an American gangster, here to crush his foes. His engineers have a beautiful mind. They dream of torture and pain. Give the thumbs down, and he'll kill the opponent. Are you not entertained? It's Endgame!
Beautiful.
Yes.
There we go. So congratulations, Endgame. You didn't win your fight, but you won the Faroukalicious Award. So you've got that going for you.
Yes, very good.
Congrats, well done.
Congrats, well done.
Not that I'm stealing your lines or anything. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid it's time to disembark the pain train that is the Shuntcast and alight at We've Ended Station. I thought this through. Come on, that was good for ad-libbing.
We've Ended Station. Oh, that was terrible.
It was. There was both pun faces for that.
Oh dear. Anyway, yes, let's end it.
Yes, we'll let everybody go. We're sorry to traumatise you any further. Yeah. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's goodbye from Dale.
Happy New Year and goodbye.
Ah, yes, it is indeed. It's the last Shuntcast of 2020. Fuck off 2020! And it's goodbye from the Queen. Goodbye!